Create a machine learning indicator in TradingView that can predict the future and have a full trading terminal showing where I should place my stop loss and take profit orders as well. Okay, this is incredible. Smash the subscribe and like button if you haven't already. It really helps the channel out and I really appreciate it. It's free to do. It's projecting these lines into the future. It looks like all of these add up to 100%. If I take all of these, 51%, 3.6%, all of those add up. And it's guessing that it will go down. It looks like 51% there. And if it reaches a critical threshold above a certain amount, it can enter a trade. So if it's 60% sure it'll enter a trade, it will alert you and verify that trade, which is super fascinating. Okay, that's amazing. Let's scroll back and see how it performs historically to see if it's accurate or not. Based on terminal shows that it should be short, and it's pretty certain it's going to go back down, probably at least down to these levels here. And so it hit that target and now it's rebounding, and every candle has a new prediction. Okay, here it flipped to long, and it seems that if I zoom in, there's enough percentage points in the bullish direction that it's picking a long trade. So it's flipped from short to long now. And just after that last bearish candle, it had already predicted a bullish trend. And there it says 100% certainty that it's supposed to go up. That's pretty interesting that it could be 100% sure, but boom. There you go. That 100% probability seemed pretty rare based on my historical backtesting, and this is really just the first test of it, but it looks really good. To answer, and if you have any questions, I will try my best to answer any questions about the video. Today we're going to convert that TradingView indicator that we just made using ChatGPT. We're going to convert it into a fully automated strategy that can trade for us. So this indicator here works based off machine learning, and I'm going to open the source code so you can see what ChatGPT was able to create. The craziest thing is that you don't need to know how to code. You don't need to know how any of this really ultimately functions, because you can ask ChatGPT, what does this block do? What does this code do, right? So I'm going to ask a quick question and just show you exactly how you can have ChatGPT digest and interpret the code for you so that you don't need to understand how to do it for yourself. So I'm going to ask, can you explain how this code works? And we're using ChatGPT 04 Mini. This is the brand new model from ChatGPT. So it's explaining the different blocks and what they all mean. And if I scroll down, there's KNN computation and prediction, which that's the machine learning part. So this block here is the machine learning. That's the most comprehensive section of code. And it looks at the nearest neighbors. We keep the smallest differences between the best distance and the corresponding labels. So it weighs the two probabilities and it gives an up or down direction. It also tracks the historical accuracy. So I'll show you exactly which part that is here on screen. So there's a historical win rate in the bottom right hand corner. So very interesting to keep track of that. But the summary is at the bottom here. So if you have any questions about the code, I'm going to paste this into the Discord server so that you can check it out. And I'm also going to convert it into a strategy, and that will also be available in the Discord for free. I'm going to share the full open source code. I'm going to do everything on screen for you so you can see my process, my methodology in this video today. So this is how I'm going to do the prompt. I'm going to ask ChatGPT. I'm on the 04 Mini High model. I could also use the 04 Mini model. Either or works. This one is available on the free plan. You get a lot more tokens with 04 Mini than the high model because it has more time to think. But since I've already got all the rules that I want listed out, it shouldn't take that much time to think. So 04 Mini is just fine. So I ask it to convert the indicator, which I've pasted below, into a strategy. That's the one we just made earlier. And I'm going to ask it to specify the rules that I want. So I want to enter long when I have a probability threshold above a certain amount that I can adjust. And I've also got an HMA as well for confluence. And then also the close has to be going up if it's a long or going down if it's a short. So price change in the short-term direction as well. So let's see how that works out. So my favorite thing about O4 Mini is you can see the reasoning if it has to think. Right here, it's going through some dialogue process within itself. And there you go. There's the results. So we'll just wait for this code to finish. And there's our results. So I'm going to take this, hit the copy button right there, and we're going to paste this directly into a blank PineScript template. So now that I'm on TradingView, I can open up the Pine Editor tab down in the bottom left-hand corner here. So I'll open it up, and you should have a blank PineScript field here. So I'm going to paste this in and add it to chart. So there you go. I'm adding it to chart now. It's loading. Let's see if there's some strategy results here. And there you go. We're on the Bitcoin chart, the Bitcoin 4-hour chart, just for simplicity, but we still got our table here. So the historical win rate here isn't going to line up with the actual PineScript win rate here because we've got a couple different strategy rules that we've added in. It's a little bit more complicated, but overall it seems profitable. The drawdown is probably the highest drawdown that I would accept long term on a risky strategy, because ideally I like my drawdowns to be 10% or below, ideally, for maximum risk tolerance. But overall, yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's take a look at some of the trades it's made. We can also adjust some of the settings first. So I'll click the settings button, open that up, and we can just play around with a couple of settings, see if that improves it. And it's not supported by TradingView directly, but I've heard of Chrome extensions you can get that automatically configure these variables for you. The only drawback to those is I haven't seen them able to do a full robustness test, randomizing the data or testing on a subset of the data, withholding some, and then saving it for later so you can test to see if the strategy collapses and if there's any parameters that are solid across multiple chunks of data. But for now, we'll just do a little bit of testing. I'm not going to get too finicky with it, but looks like the profit's going up. It's going up. Every time I hit this arrow button, the settings have to adjust, and you can tell here now it's gone down. So on this left-hand panel here, this has gone down. So I'm going to go back, and also the max drawdown has gone up as well. It used to be 40% max drawdown, so we'll dial it back, and that seems relatively better. We might be able to get better settings if we play around it for a long time, but I'll just try to see if there we go. So it was at 1,000% profit. Now it's 1,500. Going to come down, and each one of these takes. Do you see that loading screen in between? That's TradingView connecting to whatever broker you're connected to. So I'm on the Binance chart, so it's connecting directly to Binance, calling all of their candlesticks, loading them. So it takes time, and that's why Python can be faster, because you can download all the data locally and just run simulations on your machine. For the thing that was convincing to me with switching from just strictly keeping all my strategies in TradingView and then going to Python and converting it in between Python and TradingView was that you can run it, and sometimes it's thousands of backtests per second. And here I'll change the number on screen here. So we're at 0.8 now. We're going to go to 0.75, and it takes a second or two to load. We got some better profit there as well. We'll stick with these settings, and that took 1 to 2 seconds for one backtest. Think about it in Python, you could get 1,000 done in that amount of time. So, and it's all automatic too. what you can do and accomplish in Python is incredible. And ChatGPT can help do that. It can help translate this strategy here that we have all of this. And I'll paste this all into the Discord so you guys can play around with this live while you're watching the video. But what you can do in Python is it can automatically detect how many possibilities there are here, because the neighbors, this is set to 5, but there's so many possibilities, and then each of these adds exponentially more computation into it. So in Python, you can go ahead and automatically calculate that total amount, and it'll do it all for you and give you the best results. And then you can also download the price data, chunk it into different chunks, test different subsets of data. So basically the possibilities are endless, and that's why I really like working with Python. So this is not too shabby, and we can see if it works on any other coins. This is Solana. This is the 4-hour Solana chart. It looks like the drawdown did go up, but I'm sure if you played around with some of the settings, you might find better results. And again, this is not robustness tested. We would have to put it through more rigorous testing if we really wanted to be certain about it. But it's a good start. I mean, this is something we just made on ChatGPT. It didn't take us that long at all. We got a full table. It's plotting. It's giving us it's catching the breakouts, and you might want to add in some extra dynamic filters here. Again, the trading rules aren't the worst here because we've got 5 or 6 here. Where are they? So these are the trading rules here. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy these and ask ChatGPT to quickly explain them. But here's the entry rules, and then you can see strategy close here. Those are the exit rules. So I'll paste them into ChatGPT so you can see what's really going on. So let's ask it to quickly explain these rules in natural language, and it'll give a quick breakdown. So the model has a probability calculation, and this is the coolest part about it. So going to the current time, it's giving different percentages. Here, if I really zoom in here on the chart, there you go. So it's giving 60% chance it's going to return up to the top of this candle again, and then lower percentages here. And overall, the 60 plus 20 plus 11 plus 4.3, that adds up to 100%. So it's a pretty interesting way to visualize the data. It's a lower probability of coming down here, much higher of coming back up. So very cool, very cool. And so the model's up probability has to be at least 90%. So what that means is their probability down says 100% here. And so it's predicting 0% probability up. So that's what the variable is in the trading rule. So first trading rule, the second one, the HMA has to be sloping upward, and the price has to be above the HMA. That's this blue line. So this line is going upwards here. That means that we can enter long trades. If it's going downwards, we can enter short trades. So it's a nice little filter just to ensure that we have to be above this line, and it has to be going up. And that's a true uptrend here. You want to be trading only longs in this upward sloping area. And if we're below it, you only want to be trading downwards, because these are really true downtrends where it's really sharply sloping downwards. You can even put another filter on there that the slope has to be a certain degree of steepness. If it's a really sharp angle, then you can trade, because that's a real downtrend here with the candles. And over in this area where it's leveling out a little bit, maybe you don't want to trade in this area if you want your bot to be a little bit more safe. Those are things that you can consider adding in, and it's super easy to do that in ChatGPT. All you got to do is ask it, say, put a threshold of the slope. You want it to be a certain amount of steepness. So if anyone in the Discord server grabs this strategy and starts playing around with it. Let me know what you're able to get. I'm, I've kind of gotten used to automating all my strategies. So in Python, I I got tired of tinkering around with each individual number one by one. And so I prefer to automate that through Python. And then since the strategies that I have for Wolfpack, which we'll go over to that real quickly. So this is the Wolfpack Pro system. This is the AVAX tuning that I have configured for the 30-minute chart. And I'll just do a deep back test. Again, this is going to take several seconds. There it is. So that seemed fast, but if you think about doing thousands per second, that's what Python's capable of doing. So this is my AVAX system. This is the number I want you to pay attention to. That max drawdown's only 10%. So we're getting some pretty decent profit over the last 5 years and only 10% drawdown. That's exactly what is in my personal risk tolerance threshold. So some of these trades, it captures almost the whole long, and then in this last consolidating part, that's where it got out of that long, flipped over to a short, made some more profit on the way down. So the one thing that separates this bot is there's a lot of areas where it just won't trade. It won't mess around in this area here, flipping long, short, long, short. I see a lot of bots getting whipped around by the market, and the markets are really manipulated, and you want your bot to be able to survive some market manipulation and not collapse. So overall, you want to factor that in, but that's why we do statistics because the statistics, this deep backtest factors in all market manipulation. So these numbers are, in the future, maybe the markets will be manipulated more. And the saying that I go by is your max drawdown. This number here, this is the least that you could hope to have your max drawdown. It usually is always more than the projected amounts here. So in actuality, the distortion of these numbers, it doesn't always match the backtest perfectly. Sometimes it'll be a little bit off, but you want it to get as close as possible and get to the Sharpe ratio. Where do we have that here? Risk performance metrics. That Sortino ratio 22.8. You want to get as close to that number as possible in real time, but again, there's no guarantee. So that's why we do the statistics validation steps for robustness. And that bot, if you want to try it out, I've been working on it for a very long time. It's very robust, and I have all the settings available for it in the Discord. It's wop.com/trade tactics, and you can find it there. It's the Wolfpack Elite bot. And you also get the Wolfpack indicator as well, which is a huge bonus as well. So the Wolfpack indicators, it works standalone. This is the oscillator down at the bottom of the screen. And some of the buy signals and sell signals are extraordinarily powerful that you really can't ignore it, especially on the macro. This is the AVAX daily chart. There's a lightning bolt at the very, very bottom here of the chart. And as you go up, as you learn what all the symbols mean, so the pink and green squares here, those are the RSI indications. And it's not like a RSI graph like you're normally used to seeing the oscillator. It's digested into easy to understand formats. So the pink means that the RSI is in that very overbought category. So it doesn't mean that the trend's going to reverse, but once you see a bunch of pinks in a row and then this wave flips over, that's where you know you're near the top, especially once you see this divergence come in. There's a bearish triangle, very strong sell signal that you could print out a full poster of all the symbols, what they mean, and it makes it really easy to trade. So that's comes along with the bot for the subscription. And a lot of people were asking me, how do I set up a webhook alert from TradingView over to Bybit to automate some of these strategies? Because once you're happy with the settings, you've done enough validation, you hit this alert button up here, and you have to set a webhook. So go to the notifications and you click this webhook URL button, and Bybit will give you the exact webhook that you should paste in there. And the condition should be your strategy. So I'm just going to select the Keenan weighted average, and Bybit will give you something to paste in here. So you'll delete this. This should be blank. You should paste in exactly what Bybit gives you, and then you can go ahead and set the alert as long as everything is set up. But Bybit has a full write-up here, and make sure you sign up with the link down in the description to get some bonuses for Bybit and to support the channel. I would really appreciate if you use that link for sign up. But they have a full tutorial here for how to automate it, and you can watch the YouTube video and go through the step-by-step guide here as well. And I quickly want to talk about some of the more technical stuff with the OpenAI O4 Mini High, comparing it to some of the older models. The intelligence has grown significantly, and scrolling down to some of the coding, obviously the price has come down and the models have become far more efficient. Let's look at some of the coding here. So live bench coding went up from 43% all the way up to 80% now. So some of the harder tests are humanities last exam, which GPT-4 was only capable of reaching 5%, and now we're almost at 20%. This is one of the hardest reasoning tests that there are today. So 17% seems pretty low, but it's actually a relatively good result for an AI. So if you're in the Discord server, that's the best place to reach me, and there's a lot of people working on strategies here. You can scroll down, find the best bot settings for the Wolfpack bot, and you can scroll down to the working scripts and find a bunch of different strategies that people have worked on, and it's really exploded lately. There's a lot of people making some really elaborate strategies that you can check. And you can find mine as the very first one here. You can find this strategy. I'll paste it right here into the bottom category. So here is the post. I am posting it right under here, the KNN strategy, if you're looking for it. And you can grab the full open source code. This is exactly what we made in the video today. And I hope some people pick it up, learn it, and show me what you can do with it. But hopefully you guys are subscribed. But I wanted to thank everyone for watching the full video. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, liking, subscribing.